And a one, and a
Hello.
two, and a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello, hello. How are you, sir?
Oh, I am doing well.
Yeah, hanging in
Doing
there?
well. Yeah, I'm figuring out a bit. Getting better day after day.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I was even able to hit the dance floor. Back didn't hold me back that much, although there might have been a few things in my system that helped out with that.
I forgot to
So
ask you, yeah, how is the back holding up? Last week's episode, you were not real super hot on it.
I was not hot at all on it. It is on the mend. It just took like 5 days to get to the point that I was familiar with, as opposed to not being able to stand or walk within like 30-45 minutes on my own was crazy. And then started to see some pretty um, similar signs or similar feelings that I've had in the past before when I've tweaked my back in this manner. So now, yeah, I hit the dance floor. Pretty much did and danced the way with no repercussions or inhibitions.
Good.
Like I said, definitely a few things in my system that helped out with that. And yeah, now on the mend, man, doing some mobility stuff, doing some rehab, some PT work that I've done in the past.
Yeah.
It'll take a little bit. Yeah, just maybe a reminder of that I am getting a little bit older, because yeah, having like 3 or 4 days of like really serious like physical fallout where it was rough. But yeah, now it's back on the up and up. So
Well, I'm happy to hear that, man. Injuries suck.
yeah, buddy. How about you?
Not bad, man. Just watching the world events unfold.
Yeah.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. But otherwise, I'm good, dude. I'm good. Just the usual stuff, preparing, accumulating, both with food and with hacks.
Accumulating. Atta
Yeah.
boy.
Yes.
Yeah, I came back to yet a even bigger dip here. I knew that, or at least we thought last week when we talked, that there was more pain ahead, and
Yep.
wouldn't you know it, here is some of that pain. Probably spurred a little bit by those inflation numbers that came out that I think we're going to talk about a little bit today. For those of you joining us, we're going a little bit rogue today. We're going to talk a little bit of macros and markets. We did one episode kind of like this a while back, really focusing in on inflation. And there's some more inflation numbers that came out pretty recently that did not sit so well with the majority of the market, I don't think.
Nope. As we are continuing to see a hefty sell-off here in Bitcoin after hours as well, man. This is going to be an interesting week. And as we kind of talked about last episode with inflation, more importantly to how that affects your guys' food choices, how it affects your mindset and just your overall emotional state with what's about to go down here. Whether or not you're in America, a lot of these things are going to really apply to a lot of people. So, it's definitely an important topic, and one where you will never be in a bad spot being overly prepared as it pertains to properly prepping with food, especially when it comes down to hitting calories effectively. And if you're trying to lose weight effectively during, let's call it what it is, a very interesting time period, one that's kind of dicey, right? Both economically and just in general overall. It's been a crazy couple of years. So obviously you don't want to just not make improvements to your health during that time period and just totally put it on hold. So that's kind of why we're talking about these things, is really interconnecting them with, hey, okay, we're seeing higher inflation. Okay, we may be seeing these things going on with the macroeconomic side of things, but how do we pull it all together and make it make sense for our food choices in the near future and in the far out future?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, food choices and really any choice that's going to pertain and impact your health and wellness overall, with the markets and really the world the way it is, that's lending towards all of these different headwinds and huge macro factors that are going to, I think, create a fairly bad situation for a pretty drawn out period of time. It might be a good time to withdraw a little bit from looking for the number to go up or watching candles or whatever it is you might do on a day-to-day basis, especially in crypto, and really, really getting your health right. So maybe before we dive into the market side of things, just a reminder that it will at some point be transitory. It's pretty ironic that I'm going to use that word right now amidst all this talk of and pushing of inflation being transitory by the current administration. But if you zoom out, this too shall pass. And in moments like these, you really, really want to get your health and your wellness right for many, many a reason. One of the big reasons, I think we talked, it might have been last episode or the macros and markets episode we did before, where we talked about if you're in a good state of health, a good mindset, that you'll be able to weather these storms much better. You'll be able to make decisions in a poor environment or a risky environment much better. So there's going to be a lot of things that you can do that will directly impact your future self. Just maybe not so much in a market sense, looking at a screen, trying to trade a choppy, mainly down market that it
Better
looks
not be
like,
trading.
right? That looks like it's going to be here for quite a while. So,
Yeah.
lots of opportunity in these times in the markets. And like I'm saying, or what I'm going to push forward is to retreat back a little bit and focus on, your overall health and wellness. Dedicate some time away from the screens to figuring out a plan that you can adhere to moving forward to create and establish a version of yourself that you want to be, that you want to live with.
100%. This is best time to do it. Markets aren't going crazy. People are not making a ton of money unless you are just shorting everything.
Yeah.
And this is the time because you want to be in a healthy state. Like we said, you want to be in a state that's obviously healthy well into the future, 15 years for obvious reasons, but especially so for when things get really good again. And we know they are with Pulse Chain launching soon. We know they are with these things that are really big catalysts and drivers that we're all very much so connected with. The last thing you want to do is start having health problems crop up when stuff really starts to get exciting, because you're going to want to be a part of it. You're going to want to be feeling good. You're going to want to be able to have energy to do things. So, yeah, definitely something to pay attention now, even more so, because there's a lot of things going on in the background that are a direct result of inflation, a direct result of monetary policy, a direct result of the recession we've been in, likely, that are going to impact the healthcare system, healthcare premiums, right? We pay for healthcare premiums for your healthcare programs, which means how much disposable income you have, not only for the markets, but also in general for paying for health stuff. And food is part of that. Food does dictate overall health. I'm not going to call it like a medicine per se, but you might as well put it in the same category. It can either or inhibit long-term health, right? So that's why I think it makes a lot more sense, even more so now, to cover these things, because while the topic of inflation is so hot and on everybody's minds, it's like, what do we do with it? Yes, it's here, but people are just kind of like freaking out and not knowing what to do with it as it pertains to these topics, not as it pertains to crypto. I think it's pretty obvious what you do with crypto is you buy the bottom. That's it. Just pick the right asset, right? And we're Hexagons. We are picking the right asset. We know that. So the point is, though, is what do we do with everything else, right? So, yeah, there's a lot of things we could get into tonight. I believe RG3 is going to hop on here pretty soon and chat with us a little bit. I'm sure he'll have some really cool stuff to add. But yeah, we definitely got a few cool things to go over tonight.
Yes, we do plan on seeing or welcoming the captain himself here in a few minutes. If you notice, we did have a special guest scheduled, and we still have her scheduled, the doctor. You've been introduced to her at least once before on our stream, and she's also been on a couple other streams that you have probably seen her on. So she is going to be coming on. What day did we decide on, Ryan? I believe it was the 27th. So I think I just moved it to the 20th. If you're looking at YouTube right now, it's scheduled for the 20th. I'll fix that later today once we're off stream. Dr. Nicole Shernicki is going to be with us on June 27th, 6 o'clock Pacific, and all the other ones,
Yep, that's gonna be exciting.
It's
perfect timing, man. When things are getting really crazy with the healthcare system and everything, like, we're gonna be like helping people out with it because it's gonna be dicey.
Yeah,
it's gonna be dicey for sure.
Yeah, and she was just talking about getting into Hex, and pretty nice opportunity has presented itself to her.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, the last time we spoke to her about it, it was at what, like,
I think at least.
She's got a 60% discount.
We've talked to her, I think, as high as 15, probably.
Oh man, that's a good point.
Yeah, and anybody who's been a bystander for honestly like the last 2 years and I've just watched these assets, these risk assets run away.
Yep, that was a chance. I remember first looking at Hacks, and it was when it broke above 10 and pulled back and it started running from 13 to 18. And I was just like, holy shit, this thing's just not stopping. It just kept going and going and going. And now we're sitting here looking at it at 3 cents. It's like nothing has changed here. Sentiment has changed. The macroeconomics have changed, but the asset has not changed. Nothing. It's immutable code. So just remember that. Right? Just like your health is kind of mutable. You need to take care of it. You can act like you don't have to take care of it, but trust me, you will at some point. It's just how much nonsense are you willing to deal with? So that being said, I don't know if you want to get into things now or wait a couple more minutes for Archie. Come on.
I'll just this one comment and completely agree here. Go long on yourself. Shorting in general is dangerous, but just like we were talking about there, it is always a good idea to go long on yourself. And in these uncertain times, I think it is a really beneficial or pertinent time to do that. It might even be beneficial to withdraw from some of the day-to-day noise that's going on and might continue to happen for quite some time, like we mentioned. So yeah, invest in yourself and in assets that you have a degree of certainty in, where you can actually measure and actually look with certainty at what's happening underneath the veil. I don't really want to get into some of the big altcoin drama that's going on. That's, I think, fueling the fire for a crypto sell-off even more so than the markets. But one of the reasons we're here, I think, is for the transparency, or because of the transparency, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, another good one here from Bitfinesse. Eating and investing habits are same. Very, very similar. If you are able to delay gratification, especially when it comes to eating or being consistent with your eating, you will see benefits. You will see improvements. It 100%. Is not about taking the second Twinkie or the second marshmallow, whatever the fuck that experiment was. It's not about trying to pick up a % on the 15-minute or the 4-hour candles, right? It's about looking out, zooming out long-term, and adhering to sustainable practices that will promote the changes that you want to have happen. Whether it be on your bottom line, just like you say, eating is kind of like investing when we're talking about developing those habits and creating some sort of delayed gratification aspect.
Yeesh. It's going to be a bloody night, bro.
Yeah, man. I think, we're going to...
Bitcoin's down another like 5-6% here.
Yeesh.
Yeah. May break 19K tonight.
Is it below 21? What's it at?
It's at 21.5 right now, man.
I think this is like the big FUD that's going around, is that the Buddy Lips MicroStrategy guy.
He's gonna get
they might get margin called. Like they're a business. They're just accumulating however many BTC they have now, and we could run into a series of events for some of those big boys. Hey
guys, what's happening?
Hey.
RG, what's going on, man?
Oh,
damn, bro.
Yeah, baby.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's looking good.
Oh, man, you see what Ryan's doing to my gut, man.
That's looking real
Not
good.
showing that yet, but one of these days.
One day.
All in due time. Well, man, we're happy to have you on. This is another second nice surprise. I feel like this is a good time for you to come on, because I just think there's a lot of things going on right now in the markets that correlate really nicely with food preferences, choices, and the mindset of not just like Americans, people in general, as they kind of like really typically do what, right? When they're stressed with finances and everything going on in the world, especially economically, they put their health in the back burner typically, right? With high levels of stress, inflation coming out, you have all these things going on. And there was a couple really good articles I saw that I think translate well into that. And of course, letting people know like, hey, this is what's coming. And we talked about that a lot in the last episode, right? We just saw even more data come out that just really reaffirms this is coming. Your health's still important. Please don't backburner it. but this is how you can stay effective with this. So you're not going crazy, spending ungodly amounts of money trying to make it happen.
Yeah, don't get a case of the fuckets for sure.
Yeah, this is not a good time to do it, man. And I know I don't try to scare people, but looking at what happened with the shutdowns and stuff, I had plenty of people I work with that had I'll put it this way, a wait that would have scared you if you had a concussion after a car accident at urgent care. I would not be surprised to see a week to 2 week wait at hospitals and stuff like that coming in the next few years. And getting your health prioritized now is so important, because even healthy people are going to have to care, because it's like, if I get in a car accident and I can't get to the hospital, I'm kind of screwed. So now is definitely the time to invest as much as you can, and preemptively, right? Preventative. That's why we're here. Get as much stuff in order and hope that you're in a good spot. But I know I have a really good article from Zero Hedge I want to cover tonight, but otherwise I'm excited to see if you have other stuff you want to talk about, Archie, as well.
No, man, you can never go wrong with investing in your own health. I took it upon myself here this last year to, get somebody to help me be accountable and to help me direct my diet, which was obviously Ryan here. I have a trainer here at home, and then also Dr. Shrednicki, Dr. Shredder, I call her, has been running blood tests, and I was just there in Arizona. I stopped at her office, and she makes these vitamin cocktails for you and drips them in. And man, you just feel like $1 million. And but all the vitamins and supplements that she's got me on, she did more level checks. And I'll tell you what, it's like, it's one thing to go to the doctor and have them try and find something that's wrong with you and throw you some meds and maybe some x-rays or some MRIs and send you to a surgeon or all that kind of crap. But it's another thing when you have somebody who tests your hormone levels, your blood levels, your heart rate, your EKGs, your pulse rate, what's going on with your sugar levels, and just all around looking at everything from within, and then helping you to mitigate anything that's going on that's wrong. For instance, I had some cholesterol issues a few months ago, and now just through diet and taking the right supplements, this isn't even on drugs or anything anymore, but just supplementation, and boom, I got my cholesterol down into the proper ranges now. And then the other thing was, I just went for this last hormone test, and my cortisol levels are through the roof, like during the daytime. Like I wake up, everything's fine. But as soon as the day starts, my stress levels go bing, and they peg. And then, that's why I have so much trouble sleeping. So she's got me on some more stuff and of course, herbal supplements to mitigate the high cortisol levels. So it's good to have somebody that can actually, and I feel great. I just feel so much better than I ever have. And I'm not on any hormone therapies or anything like that. At 54, just starting to feel really good about my health, and I know a lot of it has to do with the, 33 plus pounds that me and Ryan have taken off of my fat ass. And, it's funny, like when you hit a certain weight and you hit a certain age, when you start, when you pick something up, it like, you have to make a noise like, I don't know what it is.
It's a rite of passage.
It's like you start making noises. Well, guess what? I'm like picking things up the other day. I'm like, hey, I'm not making those damn noises anymore.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
I just recognize that, because it was like, usually I had to like put one leg down on the side here.
Yeah.
Oh, it's always
yeah.
But I did that. I just reached down, boom, pick something up, and like putting your socks on too. I mean, stupid shit like that. Like I can just throw my socks on, one standing up. And before I used to be like, oh shit, roly poly, fall my ass over type of thing, but just little things like that are making a big difference in my life, and just feeling so much better. And of course now the gym is starting to pump even harder. The diet thing is working even better. It's just so good. You just feel so much better once and I've been on the journey for a while now. Since October of last year, I started my cleanse and then went into it with Ryan a few months after that. So we've been working at it for a while. And it hasn't been like real fast progress. It's not like I went on a crash diet and dropped, 30 pounds in a month or whatever. It's been a slow progression. And, but I've been feeling it every step of the way, so it's been awesome, man.
Nice. And yeah, something that sounds like it's going to be able to, or something that you'll be able to sustain, and sounds like you don't even mind doing it from here on out, moving forward.
No, it's definitely getting easier. Like Ryan's like my buddy. When I go travel, it's like I text him all day long because it's like breakfast, lunch, dinner. I'm taking pictures of things while I'm in restaurants, sending him stuff. We're arguing about,
you got a crazy lifestyle over here, man.
He's like, nah, man, that's an 1,800 calorie meal for sure. I'm like, no way, dude. No way. 1,800 calories for this one meal. He's always trying to make sure that I'm not messing up too bad.
Yeah,
but
that's awesome.
It's good having somebody like that, I mean, it's no guessing, taking the guessing out of it. And then of course being accountable is one thing, being able to get up in the morning and somebody's like, hey, where's your weigh-in, dude? Where you at? And and that's cool,
Yeah. Another big hallmark here of your mindset is there's no signs or sounds of, I can't wait for this shit to be over. Almost everyone you talk to, like trying to make improvements, they're waiting for that period to be over. They're like, oh, I can't wait to be done this portion of my diet or this portion of my training. It's like,
well, see, that's the beauty about Ryan's program. Is that that's not what the end goal is. The end goal isn't lose a bunch of weight and then hopefully you get to keep it off somehow, or change your diet habits enough so you can keep it off somehow. It's not what it is. It's like, okay, dude, we're gonna keep dumping your weight and hacking your metabolism so that we can increase your calories so that you are on that 2,800 to 3,000 calorie a day diet, and your weight has been mitigated down to your goal. Like I can be 165, 170 pounds and eat 3,000 calories a day and mitigate my weight that way. And that's what's like got me going, oh, hell yeah, I want to do this.
Yeah.
Because at 3,000 calories a day, a couple months ago, I'd be just blowing up, and continuing to gain weight, and I'd be 220, 225. And, so.
Yeah, dude, I know everybody looks at me funny when I say these terms, but it's game theory and mechanics. Like we're humans. Psychology is in here, just like the psychology of why we want to buy and hold hex, and the psychology of a human making the decision, right? Richard talks about all the time. So what you guys just mentioned is like the game theory and mechanics that at least I found in our current cultural environment in America to perform incredibly well, given our incredibly wild infrastructural setup with food, social pressures with food, right? All these nuances that make the whole process more difficult. And, like you said, RG, when you go into a weight loss phase feeling full, understanding what we're doing and why it's happening, and going from an incredibly high calorie count that's made you very satiated and excited for the future, and then we dump it, right? We go into a deficit that makes sense for a set period of time that makes sense for your structure. And when higher calories, when more relief's coming, the consistency success rate just like all the way up, And then once you kind of figure out the methodology that's going to work, you can rinse and repeat it. This is not something we have to keep reinventing, right? You figure it out once and you rinse and repeat it. Of course, like if RG3's food preferences change, like if he like goes off the Hex Island and lives there or something, and like he's eating totally differently, maybe he does need to go up and hang out at the higher calorie ranges more often. Maybe what would normally be a 2,400 calorie usual intake in California is now in Hex Island 3,100 because he needs to be there. Now, once again, I don't want to go too far into. We can talk about it all day. I can't like get RG3's intake to like 6,000 calories a day with no, weight gain, right? There are limitations to this, obviously, but the good news is metabolically speaking, our bodies work better than we think. Perception is pretty bad. Like, oh my God, I'm just gonna like look in food and gain weight. Especially as I get older, it's like all doom and gloom. Like we can get up a lot higher than we think. We talked about that a lot in this channel. So yeah, man, things are looking good. RG3 probably one of the 1% of Americans losing weight right now during the crazy crises that are going on right now in the world. You are in the 1%, which that's great because you're crushing it, but also like think about what that really means for everybody else. Like things are getting worse and worse in that regard, because people don't know about this stuff. There's just not enough mentorship and data out there to help stuff.
And what's the difference if you're sitting there, during this trying time, if you're sitting there doing something bad for yourself or doing something good for yourself? You could do either or. It's a choice, it's a choice. And like when I'm out and riding around and I go to a restaurant and I'm still being social and I'm still having dinner with somebody, but I'm having the sea bass without any sauce on it and a salad with, vinegar and oil dressing on the side. And, that's it. And I'm enjoying it. Actually, the food is good. I'm tasting food differently now. I'm kind of enjoying making better choices in restaurants and doing stuff like that. And then being an example, and then, passing on dessert and not doing that kind of crap and still staying off caffeine. It's just, I have something to look forward to every day, I really am enjoying it. And we're in a weight loss phase right now. So the calories are down, there's a little bit of hunger here and there, but, it's not that bad. Dips are in the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
They are, man. The good news with this one is they're very short term. We control how short term they are.
The hex dip is probably going to be a little longer than my
UK cows. Yeah.
My calorie dip, but they're in the game, and there's light at the end of the tunnel, and there is a brighter side. There is a brighter future on the other side, because we all know that crypto dips 80-90%. We've been preaching that from day one of Hex. Richards has pounded it in our heads. We've all pounded it. You got to have thick skin. You've got to have not left yourself in a situation where an 80 or 90% dip is going to hurt you for a year or two or whatever it may be. And I'm not saying that's how long this dip is going to be, but who knows? We saw a 3-year dip in the last big bear market. So, you just got to be prepared for it. And you got to know that what's cool is that all-time highs are coming. All-time highs will be coming. Once we bottom this thing out, all-time highs will be there. And it's this dip here is shaking out a lot of crypto too. It is showing scams for what they are. This whole thing that happened with Celsius is absolutely disgusting. Am I gone?
Oh, dude. No, you're back now.
Yeah,
You're back now.
You're good.
Shoot, I never seen anything happen. So shit. But look what happened with Celsius. It's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
We've been worrying about it. We've been talking about it, and boom, there it is. A letter straight from, they sent me a letter because I subscribed to Celsius.
Mm-hmm.
I set up an account, never used it, but they sent me a letter, and they sent me that same letter saying, "Hey, we're shutting down trading and stuff." So, or what do they call it? Cashing out or
withdrawal.
There's people that can't even pay the loans back. They're not even allowed to pay the loans back. They're getting liquidated instead of being able to pay their loans back.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah, it's like the structure of these companies didn't work into the mold, actual 85% volatile tips. So their business strategy just doesn't actually work on paper, kind of like Luna. It's like when shit actually hits the fan, the product doesn't work. So they're having serious issues now.
It's like, why? Yeah, why would they not? It's historical. It's 12 years of history. It's 12 years of dip history. We know it's going to happen, and it's always a surprise when it does. Seriously, I look at 3 cent hex and I'm like, holy shit, that surprises me.
Yeah.
But in retrospect, if I looked at it and thought, man, we're going to have 3 cent hex. If we never hit anything above 3 cent, we'd be all happy right now. Right. Yeah. It's just one's perspective of the whole thing. But, it's just disgusting what has gone out. This is a big shakeout. And then not that I have any love for Mr. Saylor, but it's really going to be a sad thing when that happens, because that is about to happen.
You think he's going to get liquidated?
Well, he's at 21,000. He's supposed to, but he said he has things that can mitigate that.
We're at 21.1 right now. So
probably about 18,000. So he's sweating. So probably at about 18,000, I think. From what I heard in interviews, he said that he can mitigate the issue on its way down. So, but how long and how much,
no, man. Things are happening fast here. I don't think people expect it to be this fast, but it's like, once again, this happens in some rhyme or reason, some way every time.
It does.
Yep. But I wanted to just real quick to pull up an article that I saw from, of all places, Zero Hedge. I know a lot of our Hexicans like Zero Hedge, but it was an article, and we may not even have to pull it up, but I do have it here in case you guys want to. They basically covered how, and this is like how the macroeconomic picture impacts overall health in America and the food choices we make. And it's something to be aware of, because the problem is going to get worse before it gets better. I'm telling you right now, we're on a parabolic rise when it comes to obesity rates and how that impacts the healthcare industry and the overwhelming pressure on them already, plus with the staffing shortages. The point being is, what they posted was an article that says McDonald's shrinks their menu and gives up on healthier foods to drive profit. And basically the summarization is, tons of restaurants, it was 60% in 2021, reduced their menu by 10% or more. And a lot of these chain restaurants, like McDonald's, Burger King, et cetera, are removing things like salads or apple slices, like some of the more healthier options that obviously were loss leaders, right? They wanted to have them in there for variety or whatever the case may be. And obviously I utilize them. Like, I'm going to get I'll be that one person that gets 2 Big Macs with some apple slices or something like that, to make things work, right? Like RG's looking at this like, yeah, I could do that. Like, that makes sense. I would probably do something like that if I had to split up my macros, but 99% of Americans are not doing that. So when you have an entire franchise like McDonald's and Burger King eliminating healthier food options, specific lower calorie options, you already know that the restaurants, the mom and pop ones as well, are really going to kill off the ones that are not driving profit either. And they're also typically going to be items that are lower in calorie and more expensive to obtain, especially with the supply chain and logistics issues going on. So what you really have here is a supply chain logistics and macroeconomic environment creating a higher calorie, a higher base calorie intake level for Americans that just came out of a lockdown and just went up, I think historically 5 to 10% body fat, and are now staring down at increasing pressures from an economic perspective, but also higher calorie counts coming in. So this is like the perfect storm, is what I'm really trying to say. When you have big chain restaurants that are such a strong part of people's lives, whether it be through Uber Eats or going through the drive-through, eliminating food choices because they're not making as much profit and they can't even make the profit. What do you think the mom and pop restaurants are doing, or the smaller chain restaurants are doing? They're going to start killing things. And so I wanted to bring this up because this is how understanding the markets and what this is going to do to the obesity crisis is how it's so interconnected here. Because I'm not typically someone that says, hey, healthier foods are way more expensive. We need to change everything about our economy to make that work. But this is one of those things that I think will have a large influence over the next however many years that this stays intact. I'm not saying everybody that went to McDonald's bought a salad, but I am saying that it will absolutely impact things, because any of the people that did get them won't anymore. And then you have more people going, oh, whatever, screw it. I'll get a number one. I'll just get a number one. Yeah, I'll take a Coke, sure. And that's all it takes, right? That's all it takes to have a 1,500 calorie meal walk into your car. So it was, I think, a really important article, and this kind of stuff never gets any blow. You notice nobody ever talks about this. It's all about the economy and stuff. It's never about the healthcare crisis going on. So I actually was really happy that Zero Hedge posted something like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as a business, obviously their obligations are to their bottom line. And like you're saying, Ryan, this argument that healthy food has been more expensive I think it's been around for forever, at least as long as I can remember. One of the biggest criticisms has always been, oh, well, shitty food is way cheaper. And if you actually go into a grocery store, especially like a bigger bulk grocery store like Costco, that's not it, or at least it wasn't necessarily the case. It might not be as appealing as Pop-Tarts or whatever the fuck it is you want that day. But you could, at the time, back at least 2 years ago, even I'd say a year ago, find a way to eat quote unquote healthy at a very similar cost basis to eating something less healthy. But now, and when we see some of these revenue-driven businesses starting to cut items like that, it definitely translates over to the individual and the consumer as well.
Everywhere.
So already, like, that sentiment or that idea that people thought, like, whoa, healthy food is expensive, unhealthy food is not. There is going to be a real increase here in quote unquote healthy food that is just going to drive consumers and individuals away that much harder. Because already they were less willing to go seek out those deals or seek out the strategies in which to deploy their money to acquire some sort of like actual healthy items. So yeah, I definitely agree. Like prices are going up, especially on those. And man, yeah, I'd cut them from my menu too. I'm a burger restaurant.
Dude, it's like the Bitcoin premium trading at a negative right now, and Richard posts about that. Like, hey, dummies, like this is going to continue to go down if they can get it cheaper here, right?
Yeah.
This is like the same thing. When you have one of the largest institutions of quick fast food in America, the most widely, popularized and known, because they're all for profit, right? Whether it's the mom and pop restaurant or the McDonald's, when you have that kind of influence shifting away from healthier foods. And on top of that, in the article, there's like a chief nutritionist that says this is a big step back from McDonald's. And that's how you know the legacy individuals and professionals in the nutritional space, the healthcare space, have no idea what the F they're doing. Because when you have them holding McDonald's accountable for the overall state of health decisions in America, that's how you know you done fucked up.
Yeah.
Seriously. Like that's how you know there's serious systemic issues going on when we have to. Well, we're going to spend our time as a health professional with your influence and sway. You're going to yell at a McDonald's individual, likely franchise owner for pulling these items off their menu. Like, bruh, you are way out of the loop here. Yeah. Like you're on Mars and we need to bring you back to America because you are not in touch with reality here. Yeah. Right. So, and I know RG going through my process, you're probably just able to just like pick all this out and understand completely and just know why it matters so much that this stuff's happening, because you're seeing why things have to get so much worse before they get better. It's like Bitcoin going to 40K and knowing that, we got to go back. We got to go down to 11 before we go higher. We just have to. It's going to happen. So unfortunately, like that's why we want to talk to the Hex kids and build these skill sets, because preventative is the only way. And I do fully believe that the healthcare crisis and collapse is going to come, and I'll be the first person talking about it. I'll be like the Peter Schiff of the healthcare crisis collapse, if you will. And then like he finally got his fame. I'm telling you that
one day,
that is what's coming here, man. I'm like straight up building a list of all the nurses I've worked with from almost all 50 states to get intel from them to do some sort of like news setup, because there's no real news coming out of the hospitals. I noticed that there's no real news coming out of the hospitals on how understaffed they are still, what's going on, the actual patient issues going on. And bro, this stuff with this is like straight up whistleblower shit. This is like people would be outraged what's going on right now. Cause I hear this stuff. RG3 knows. Hop on the phone with him at least once a week. We chat and I hear a lot of stuff. At one point, I think I had 20 to 30 different nurses I was working with. And I know that's not like a million bajillion different data points. When I hear the same thing from 20 to 30 different nurses in 20 to 30 different states, I go, wonder if there's some credits to this. But so yeah, it's interesting, man. It's really, really interesting, because until we can understand how complex and nuanced the problem of obesity is, we can't really sit down and have an honest conversation about it. And until we have an honest conversation about it, we can't come up with a clever and actual real solution. When we have head chief nutritionists yelling at McDonald's to bring in healthy items to their menu and then backwards, that's how you know they're not allocating their time appropriately. Like that's how it's just not going to work. So it's frustrating to see, dude, because there's not enough good people. There's not enough good people who are really about it, who are willing to be a martyr for the cause. Because like I said, we're not ready for the conversation. There's a lot of emotions involved, right? Yeah. So when there's too much emotions involved, people aren't ready to have the conversation. So people are continuing to die from obesity and continue to have issues. The problem continues to get worse until it's too late, right? So until we're ready emotionally to actually have the honest conversation, and nobody is, so nobody's actually willing to go on a platform and risk their livelihood to go out and martyr themselves, because people are going to be like, dude, F off. We don't want to hear this. We don't want the truth. We don't want even the solution. I think part of it is not having a good solution. People can't get excited without a good solution. But to be frank, like think about it. It's why you've seen nobody of political power or any power in general speak a word about the state of overall health in the country, let alone the world. And nobody will. It's total suicide. Politically, to your business, anything. So until that goes away, that's like the grayscale premium. Until that goes away, that's the grayscale premium pulling down the improvements in overall health in America. When that's gone, then the gates can be dropped.
Yeah. And it's my belief that, your physical health has a lot to do with your mental health too. And we've got a pandemic of mental health issues going on in this country too. Well, I guess globally, if for that matter, everybody's starting to get thick, and it's because we're starting to see fast food move into, all these countries that didn't have obesity problems before. They got them now, and now we're paying the price for it, both mentally and physically. Because I know that my mental state was different when I was at my highest weight, when I was, kicking 220 in the ass. I felt different. My mind operated different than it does today, and so there's a lot of compounding issues that because of this and because of us not paying attention to it and bringing it up to the forefront. I've always, even when I was a fat ass, I've always wanted us to talk about health and wanted us to think better of it, because, when I've read a lot of success books, and one of the most interesting things that I ever read, and it has always stuck with me. And unfortunately there's been times I didn't pay attention to it, but they interviewed a bunch of billionaires, and they asked them, what was the number one thing that they would have done differently in their lives? What was their biggest regret? And every one of them said they would have took better care of their health. Every one of them that they interviewed said that.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't, I spend more time with my family, I spend more time with my kids, I would have done this for my wife, or any of that kind of stuff, where I would have made this investment or that investment. They all said they would have took better care of their health. And that's profound, because now that I'm at the age I'm at, that's a reality. I know how important that is, because I've got a lot of friends that are dead, dying, or very, very sick because of obesity, because of what they've done to themselves over the years and not taking care of themselves. So it's definitely, if you're young out there, it's time now to get in those habits, and to, I'm starting to create habits now with Ryan as far as my eating goes. And then of course with my workouts and whatnot too. And once you do finally create those habits, it becomes a way of life. It becomes easier, and it becomes a joy. That's all I can say about it is it just becomes, you start to enjoy it. I look forward to my calls and my weigh-ins and stuff with Ryan. Every Friday we sit down and we go over the week, and we talk health, we talk crypto, and it's cool.
Talk the charts, right? Talk the health chart.
Yeah.
We go over the crypto charts and the health charts, and we have a Friday call every week, and it's freaking cool.
Pull up the RG3 ticker.
Dude,
Right?
if most of my clients were into this stuff,
Yeah.
I would love to almost mimic what an actual chart looks like. Because I think I could do that and make it really, really cool.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious, man. Think about when you know how to time things, and the mechanics of how this stuff works, right, as pertains to body composition improvements. It's like buying the bottom and selling the top all the time. Why wouldn't you keep doing that all the time?
And you get to actually
Think
move the markets and move the charts.
Exactly.
Let's
And it's
understand.
not difficult based on the numbers. People forget the complexities lie in what RG said, the psychology of it and the mechanics and the game theory. That's where the difficulties come. Not I need to learn how to calorie count. Yes, that's a basic skill. It's like brushing your teeth. But after that, it's all game theory and mechanics, right? And what you do with the numbers that makes it difficult. So once, what RG said, once you master that, it's just a rinse and repeat. That's it. Because you have the tools to master any situation. If we get locked down again for some reason, he's good. I know I'm good too. Shit, I'm eating 3,100 calories a day right now, and I could easily pivot if I had to. Just like
I'm sorry, right? I got to put this up. Whenever a beautiful lady says that I have an amazing transformation, I got to put it up there. Thank you, Corripto Stylist. I appreciate that. Made an old man feel really good. Thank you.
I agree. If you didn't see him flex when he hopped on, I highly recommend scrolling back in the stream to find that.
Biceps. That's what the other fellows do. They do the bicep shot. Oh man. So anyway, the correlation to the charts is really cool too, because that's what Ryan's been doing. On our Friday calls, he sends me a picture of my chart, and then we go over, your fat ass fell out of its parabola here, and here you
God.
are going down.
Okay,
You're in a dip.
phrasing aside. That's funny.
And it's cool to watch it, though. It's really cool to watch it, how it's dipping, and then we level off, and you can literally see the chart, based on your diet, based on your activity levels, based on what you're doing. And then, I mean, he's got it so dialed in that we could even see, like, he'll go like, okay, man, what did the sodium look like yesterday? Well, yeah, you know what? I had too much of this, too much of that. And yeah, sodium was high. Well, no kidding. That's why we're flatlined, or we went up a pound or whatever. And then boom, a couple of days later, oh, yep, there it is. That's where we're supposed to be, okay. So just even the little things that make big differences in your progress. It's really interesting. Really interesting.
Yeah. You get so comfortable with it. It's kind of like, just like looking at your bank account. You kind of know how it ebbs and flows. You know where the, it's going to go up and go down, and you get really comfortable with it. So you're not really scared off by the data, right? You're no longer scared of, let's call it what it is. You're not scared of the responsibility of tracking your health, right? Because people want to dismiss and pull away from, oh man, again. And there's a lot of sell pressure on BTC right now. I got up my other screen. We're at 21K flat, 21,038. And they pause sell pressure, and it's still going down. This is going to be a bad week. Now, here's the key, though. If Bitcoin does its V-shape bottom mark, is Richard hanging out in the trenches watching this as well? Carefully.
Of course.
Just kidding. I'm sure he's just having a nice glass of something right now, watching this, laughing his ass off. I appreciate his stream, dude. His stream he did last night was great, man. It just,
he had a great stream.
You can tell the way he talks.
Yeah.
There's so much passion and genuineness because
confidence.
He has the honesty. Think about the honest conversations he has that no one else is willing to have. I straight up correlate that to what we do here, because you can't fake that. You can't fake it, and the numbers support it. You know what I mean? So if we can deliver that same message that he does, but to the crypto space, it's going to be amazing. But it's looking like today and yesterday are going to be really good days to go back to Richard's Twitter to see the whole "I told you so" moments, because the exchanges just showing their true colors are coming out right now, man. Not a good time to have funds locked away in exchanges. I mean, you've had plenty of time to shift. Unless you bought yesterday, you had plenty of time to get off these things, And honestly, this is bullish for Hex. The more products you see fail because of issues structurally in what these other products are doing, it shines a more potent light on Hex. It's still around. It's still working perfectly. We're coming up on year 3. Eventually, they cannot ignore the problem. In this case, Hex is a problem because it is a better product, and it's threatening the existence of these other shittier products, right, to the ecosystem. So eventually, people are going to have to just shift over. So we just need to play the waiting game. And thankfully, we have that unlocked too. So we can all just chill and watch this happen in real time. Because, the Fed is meeting this week for us United States people, and they are likely going to raise rates. How much, we don't know. Unless things break so badly that, I don't know, they maybe stop. But the point is we are waiting for some key information here, as we just got our CPI print, which is higher year over year, and has kind of sent the markets spiraling down. And tomorrow is going to be, shit. We were talking about this before we hopped on live, RG, and, the Federal Reserve as a private company has a responsibility, because the stock market has people's 401ks, has their retirements, their pensions. They
104Ks is what I like to call them. Anyway.
They can't have these tanks 60%. I mean, think about retiring this year. You wanted to retire this year, and you're looking at the NASDAQ correcting almost 50%. Yeah.
Your host.
They can only let the pain happen for so long before the bottom signal really comes, in my opinion. That's where economic policy has to shift. But if they increase rates for another couple months, that 11K call may actually be too high.
It might be.
If Saylor really has to start covering, because he's an idiot.
Oh my goodness. Dude, we are literally about to dip under 21 right now. It's 21,089.
Well, it just hit 20,900. I'm on Binance.com. Well, this is on Binance. I'm looking at Binance.
Okay. They halted. That's why they halted.
Well, it must be, because they're still going.
Sailors on the phone.
It's going this low.
He's gonna sell.
It's terrible, man. And the crazy thing is while that's happening, WTIL is what WTI oil is still forming that ascending triangle, and we're looking at RG. You weren't here last week. I had done a price call for oil, and I put it at the peak of the flagpole for the bullish setup it's in at $140 a barrel, which puts it right at the peak levels of the 08 financial crisis, because we just found support at about 120. And Goldman, what was it? Goldman put out like a tweet or some news article like a couple hours before saying that was also their specific price call for oil. So
their targets.
Have every recession indicator known to man flashing. This is like peak red flag flashing everywhere, and people are still out here buying shit like Luna. They're still out here giving up their keys. So it's like, until human behavior changes, these market cycles are going to do what they do. And until there's a product that really can take hold of the psyche of the entire world, that's not going to happen. So these patterns keep playing out. So here we are, watching Bitcoin do another 85% correction.
Yep.
I mean, shit. We'll see where it goes. Either way, it doesn't matter. Your health's still ticking, regardless of where the Bitcoin price trades. And we were talking about earlier before you came on, RG, was what better time to get your health in order now? Because when prices are going up and Pulse Chain launches and you're watching both bags and both chains and we're going crazy, like RG, I don't know about you, man, when Pulse Chain finally goes live, I told my girl, like, we're breaking out the whiskey and I'm just pulling up both charts and just drinking. I'm gonna have a great time. It's gonna be hilarious. But now is the time to get our health in order, because when the bull market returns, you don't want to be sitting on your laurels worrying about health problems, needing to go to the doctor, figuring things out, especially with medication shortages, which we haven't even talked about yet in this channel. Exercise is another one. Medication shortages. You have the wait times to see a doctor. I had a client that literally had to wait 4 months to get an appointment with a doctor of her choice. 4 months, guys. When did we become a third world country? You know what I mean? Like, obviously that's not the case, but the point is there are real structural issues happening. Health in the preventative state is our only defense right now. Like, if I get in a car accident and there's a 2-week wait to the hospital, I'm just effed. That is what it is. So healthy people are in trouble too. Obviously, we can't do anything about that, but I can at least be as preventative as I can. So now's the time, man. When prices are depressing, get off the charts, stake the damn stuff like you're supposed to, and get control of your health. Revisit the community when you're ready if you have to, if it is too painful to be around. Or just hang out on the Discourse Syndicate channel, because we have great stuff like this.
Yeah.
That works too.
Yeah, your health and wellness, that was the title that I ended up checking there. It's something that you can impact. There's not all these other headwinds, all these other bozos running around clicking whatever buttons, the red or the green one, raising rates, cutting rates, doing all this other shit. You get to directly impact your health and your wellness by choosing every single day the habits and activities that you implement to create that outcome that you want. So yeah, just like we said, now is the time of opportunity to get in, if that's into the market, if that's where you're at, or more importantly, to focus on yourself and creating this base that you can live with and live proudly with for the rest of your life.
Bifinesse just put a comment in there saying that the US dollar is the best pump and dump, or the unequivocally a pump and dump, and he's not wrong. We just talked about this right before we went live, where the US dollar is getting the strongest it's ever gotten, and people forget the Federal Reserve doesn't care about inflation. That's the narrative. They care about strengthening the US dollar as the US world reserve currency currently as it stands. They want to give it strength as much as possible. That's what they care about, right? And of course, in doing so, in terms of crushing the economy, they're going to get it super strong, and that gives them the firing power to then devalue it again and create another bubble, if you will, until that whole process ends up not working, and then that's a whole other conversation. But it is a pump and dump in that way. I mean, we're at all-time highs right now. The US dollar has never been worth more since, let's see, I'm on the DXY chart right now. The last time it was worth this much, the US dollar right now, last time it was worth this much was December of 2002.
Ooh.
This is the monthly chart. This is how strong the US dollar has shifted as we have pivoted and started raising interest rates and changing financial policy from the Federal Reserve. They don't care about inflation. That's the narrative. They care about strengthening the US dollar. And remember, this is not the US dollar versus food. We are still losing purchasing power to all these things, right? This is not against inflation to commodities and stuff like that. This is just in the whole turd bucket of all the other world currencies, right? The yen, the pound, the euro, etc. So as it pertains to those right now, the US dollar is the best turd in the turd bowl, as you can see. Everybody is rushing to the dollar, the safe haven. And down here, when it was at its lows, you can see this is where we had the Bitcoin double top. See these two here? Bitcoin double top. So yeah, the point is these are the things to look for, because you'll see the dollar immediately retract and form probably a double top as well once we finally shift course based on what the Fed wants to do. That's why it's so important, you guys, to look at the macroeconomic situation, not just from like a cryptocurrency standpoint, but like we talked about with the cost of food and inflation and how that's going to impact your health choices and how it's going to impact your healthcare visits and how that's going to impact supply chain. All that's super important. Like even just as a baseline, if you can get a couple of months extra of your prescription medications, that is so important to do right now. There are insane shortages on these things right now. And it is, what are you going to do if you don't have 2 months worth? I don't know.
Insulin's the big problem right now too.
Absolutely. And they can't even get it to people quick enough. So if it's a day late, they have to send it back because it's not good. So imagine if you're on, like RG said, insulin, and it has to be refrigerated, and then they can't ship it to you quick enough because there's issues with the supply chain, and then you don't have it. So there's very real things going on, and preparation is the best thing you can do. But this is really important stuff. The oil chart I have up here as well to show you guys the trend that's going on here, right? We have this overall uptrend, and we are now finding the important thing to know here is I showed this exercise earlier. This is all the way back to 2008, the great financial crisis, right? Where we hit all-time highs of about 146 a barrel. We are finding support at previous all-time high. We have now found support on the monthly chart. Oil is going to go much higher. And that is absolutely a recession indicator as well. It's not 100% guarantee, but it is absolutely a big, big indicator because it impacts so much of the economy and the world economy. And all these things are intertwined. So you have so many of these things flashing issues, big issues, right? So there's definitely some more pain coming, but if you were smart, prepared over the past year, save money, live below your means, took care of your health, you're going to be prepared. And it's never too late to get started with that stuff, honestly. Especially as a Hexagon, you have even less reason to care about this. You have less reason to care about this shitty Bitcoin going down because your stuff is staked, printing you yield, and you're good. You're covered. Flawless uptime, immutable code. A leader that isn't afraid to have the honest conversations, and that will eventually shift the space's narrative. You just need to be patient. So while that's happening, while your Hex is printing, you can use your time to do more valuable things versus staring at charts and getting liquidated trading with leverage, like all these idiots are doing.
Yeah.
So spend your time wisely. Learn, improve, learn what the macroeconomics are doing because these are patterns. These are signals. They're going to tell us the same thing over and over again, right? Same thing that happened over here in 08. Oh, here's one in 08 right down here. So these things follow patterns. So it's just really interesting to see this stuff play out. Honestly, I think this is the most fascinating and exciting time to be alive, like ever, honestly. There's so much going on right now, and some of it's very scary, but man, there's going to be a lot of opportunity, guys. Hacks at a cent. Are you serious? Are you serious? I remember when I was pissed off because I didn't buy it at 18 cents when it ran up to 50. I was pissed. Guys, Hex is at 3 cents.
Yeah.
Do not forget. And there's actually, I think it was Axis Alive. I think you guys know about Axis Alive. He's pretty prevalent in the Twitter space for Hexagons. He posted a quote from one of his friends that passed away, and it said, every market bottom was followed by a complete and 100% market recovery. Everyone.
Yep.
Everyone.
Every one of them.
You got to stay steadfast on this, guys. You got to stay steadfast on this and understand the product you're in and not to be fearful.
Yep.
But yeah, really, really cool stuff. Really cool stuff. Things to pay attention to. I mean, obviously, this is not fun stuff, but what a time to be alive and be prepared. So live below your means, take care of your health. We covered the foods that you should buy to help keep your costs down and keep macronutrient and calorie counts in a good spot. And we have all the prior episodes on charting and stuff. Information's out there. It is out there. And we'll probably keep talking about it because like I told Exercise last week, I'm like, hey, we'll talk again, man. Wait until you see gas go up more and more.
Yeah.
$40 price call is going to happen. We're going to see the Fed do what it does. And the second we get news that the Fed pivots, we're going to cover it. We're going to be like, listen, things are about to change. This is the bottom. You still need to take care of your health, right? Nothing has changed there. Your health is still there. In fact, that is actually going to continue to get worse, because if we look at your health as a measure of effectiveness, it's getting worse and worse as you get older. And our infrastructure, in America at least, our infrastructure's ability to take care of you is getting worse and worse. So you have a rug pull going on in the infrastructure of America as pertains to overall health and the ability to take care of the increasingly high obesity rate. And also you're getting older, so your own ability to take care of yourself is getting worse and worse. So do what you can to be preventative. I'm telling you, you're going to save yourself hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yep.
100%.
You think health is expensive? Try sickness.
Yep.
Oh man, great phrase.
Yeah,
I love everything about that. I love everything about that, man. And this is the article from his Zero Hedge in case you guys want to look at the McDonald's shrinks menu, gives up on healthier foods to drive profit. Where's that quote from the senior? Hold on.
Yeah, this is so funny to me that chief nutritionist takes the stand to point finger at McDonald's. It's just
Lindsay Moyer, a senior nutritionist at the Food Health Watchdog Center for Science in the public interest, said McDonald's is taking a huge step backward, in quote, by axing healthy items at 13,000 U.S. locations. And then in quotes, you have to wonder if McDonald's has almost given up trying to pretend they have something to offer people who want healthier items. Dude, this is
McDonald's didn't take a step back.
Yeah.
McDonald's didn't go crazy. McDonald's just went McDonald's. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Right.
McDonald's just went McDonald's. That's all they did.
Of all hills to die on here for somebody that should understand the landscape at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of all areas to hold more accountable, not the educational sector. No, let's just totally give that a pass. Right?
Yep.
The thing that's supposed to teach people on how to make better choices when presented the options, because freedom of choice is an important thing we Americans like. No, let's totally disregard that and hold the capitalistic based establishments to do it for you. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
Last time I checked, if I forced RG3 to have a damn salad every day, he'd probably say, "Hey dude, fuck off." Last time I checked, that's probably what would happen.
Yeah.
So from a game theory mechanics standpoint, is that really going to work? Are we just going to make the problem that much worse?
Yeah.
Worse?
If only our fast food restaurants in America had salads for everyone, then it would all be better. Like
apples instead of
right.
Yeah.
Think about it though. Like that would be what people would have. Like the only thing I could see government doing if they really went like full socialist was, hey, we're actually limiting calorie counts that you can intake every day.
Oh my!
And we're limiting the calorie count. Like
we're going to tax your calories.
They would limit the calorie counts that could probably be purchased at a time. And also that restaurants could sell per menu item. That'd be like the hammer, just like hammering the problem, Like that would be the only thing I could think of if like they really had to like support the health in America somehow, like the last ditch resort. That's the only thing I could think of.
Like literally set up the food police.
Yeah. Like it obviously wouldn't prevent somebody
like in a restaurant walking around looking at people's food.
Well, no, it would prevent the restaurant from even being able to sell above a certain calorie limit. And somebody couldn't actually order over X amount of calories per person. Stuff like that. They would actually impact the capitalistic infrastructure. But I mean, are the people going to respond well to that? Probably not. I mean, did prohibition work well?
Hell no.
No. Like there's like the calories in the black market. Like, hey, RG, you get that package of Pop-Tarts I sent you, bro? Like, have fun with that, man. It's like it's so stupid, dude.
Yeah, man. I found an all you can eat sushi that opens up at 3:00 in the morning down around the corner,
right?
man.
Yeah.
What do they call
back alley all you can eat sushi place?
Yeah, what are the bars called that are like stowed away, like the secret little like tuckaway bars?
Oh, the speakeasies.
Speakeasy.
Yeah, speakeasy, but for calorie count.
Yeah,
sushi easies.
You want to get more than 2,000 calories? Come with me.
Dude, me and RG would have problems. If we eating 3,000 calories a day, we'd have to go to these speakeasies to get our fix.
Yeah, just to stay alive. We'd be dying. We'd be in calorie deficit forever.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But some interesting stuff. It's an interesting time to be alive when you put the piece together. You see what's coming. It's not to be doom and gloom, right? It's just like Richard Hart is in doom and gloom when he says Bitcoin's 11K to help you prepare to make good decisions. That's all it is. That's all it is. Life will continue to move on. It's not like everything's going to just just because McDonald's changes their food choices. But this is like looking at the Bitcoin premium and seeing that it's negative and saying, yeah, the Bitcoin price is probably going to go down in the future. And on top of that, I should probably get out of crypto exchanges because Richard Hart had the truthful conversation with me. And that's it. You're prepared. So you're not scared right now. You're not freaking out on what's going on here. You're not in Binance going, oh my God, I can't sell my shit because they turned off sell orders.
Man, I'm not worried at all. I'm excited about what's going on. I really am. I'm excited. We're finally going to see a nice, good bottom, and we're still getting ready to launch. I mean, it's just freaking exciting times. This is awesome. And let's answer this real quick. So when does Saylor get margin called? So his margin call is at $21,000 Bitcoin, but he has mentioned over and over again that he can mitigate his losses through other means and liquidate other assets of some type to make sure that it probably can go down to like somewhere between 18, 19 or something, and he wouldn't be done. But it's probably going to go lower than that. So he is sweating balls right now. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
The daily looks so ugly right now. Dude.
It's just on that's that knife. There it goes.
Daily looks so bad.
Yeah, we're about to see an actual parade of horribles in Bitcoin here.
Yeah, you see the narrative is going to change.
It's actually going to come to happen.
All these exchanges shutting down, the Luna shit, and then all this FUD's going to come out to push it as low as it can. And the sharks are out there just like licking their teeth, man. They're just ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, Celsius and Saylor get liquidated. It's gonna be fireworks.
Yeah,
dude.
And those are supposed to be the solids, right? Those are the solids. Those are
I know, right?
Solids.
How the almighty have tumbled quite bad. Once again, the more of these that tumble and lend more credence to Hex, you have more and more people that like the wall coming down because more and more people just go, yeah, Hex is it, man. Like, yeah, it's still here. I get it. I'm finally coming around. And I just keep seeing more and more people saying that. And of course, the on-ramp rate, the users, the stake length getting longer. Like, guys, like, just do the math. See where this is going. You know, it's pretty simple stuff. Don't be pissed off because you didn't buy 3 cents looking and staring at Hexagon at 50 about to break out all-time highs. And all of us are tracking our calories still, having a grand old time, and just chilling, you know? So, yeah, lots of opportunity. 3 cents, 1 cent. I mean, shit, we are just at 20. We are just at 20 cents getting ready for Pulse Chain to launch.
Yeah.
What makes you think it's not going to go way past 20 cents again? On both chains. On two chains, like the rapper.
2 chains.
Dude, we need to get some 2 chain memes for Hexagons for Pulse Chain. And
that's true.
There you go.
We really do, man.
There
Richard
you go.
should do that. That'd be funny. Or just like break 2 chain on an interview. That'd be hilarious.
So Dante said, "Why am I more exciting to Bear?" Because Dante, you're already being hardened, man. You've been through this. Obviously, you understand what's going on. You've heard people talking about this happening, and here it is. Because no matter how you slice it, the chart goes like this. From Bitcoin was here, and now it's here, even at this dip. Same with Hex. Hex was here, and now it's here, even with this dip, like this.
Yeah.
But anyway, and it's the same in every market. The market goes up and to the right. However, there's these emotional dips in between, and we've always said it. We've learned it from Richard. There's 80, 90% dips there in the game. It happens every time. And the exciting part about this dip is this for me. I read an article that talked about technology growth. The fastest growing technology of all time was the internet. The internet was growing at a clip of about 64% a year. The most amazing growth any tech has ever seen. And crypto right now is at 114% growth rate.
Huh.
Wow.
There's 130 million wallets, and there's going to be, by 2024, 1 billion wallets. We are in hyper growth phase right now. So this is a very healthy correction. It's a good correction, and all-time highs will be coming. So for any of you out there who are fearful or scared and seeing this for your first time or maybe just your second time, It's happened over and over and over and over again. And like they just said earlier, every time we've hit a bottom, we've always come back and made all-time highs in HEX and in everything else. This too shall pass. There is nothing new under the sun, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And another reason why too, it's excited to get, why it's important to get excited during a bear market is because if you're prepared, you have dry powder waiting to go. Like you knew the Fed was going to be increasing rates. You knew federal monetary policy was coming that was going to create a tightening, right? There was no longer quantitative easing. They're selling assets off their balance sheet. They're increasing rates. We know the opportunity to buy HEX at the strongest point, right? The dollar is getting stronger and stronger. What does that mean? It's allowing us to buy more HEX with it, which is the better product, is the better asset. We know this. This is just a brief moment of time where you can buy more HEX for your dollar. That's it. Do you want to buy it now or do you want to buy it when HEX is $100 per?
Yeah.
You tell me, right? So that's why we chart these things to show you guys where this is at. Same thing with oil. You know what I mean? I mean, the dollar here, it's just continuing to go up. As you continue to see people freak out and go into the US dollar, this is your opportunity. People who wanted HEX at 50 cents don't want it anymore. Their head is not in the game. They don't understand. They need to watch more of like whales only videos at this point and more of Richard's videos. We have great influencers in our space that are educating people for free all the time. And that's how I got involved with HEX, was watching whales, Quant Gang when that was still a thing, and all those guys. And then a Discourse Syndicate shortly after that, and just watched and learned. Like Richard says, just learn. Same thing with the calorie counting and the mechanics and the game theory of that. Just learn. It's simple. You know, once you learn and you learn from people who look the part all the time, it's easy. Trust me. Don't continue to get yourself wrecked doing the same thing everybody else is doing, because nobody is doing the right thing with crypto because everybody's selling the bottom here. Outside of Richard. Richard's like the only one that sold the top and is chilling, having a nice drink right now, having a dinner. And nobody out there in the world is hanging out at 10% body fat and can create whatever they want on the calorie count that they want when they want. That's how you know. Everybody else is out there getting wrecked. We have almost 60% obesity rate in America. Don't listen to most other people. They don't know what they're doing. They're going to get you wrecked. So these influencers are going to get you wrecked in the crypto space. So there's trends here, right? There's trends. So pay attention to them and know that, yeah, we will hit a bottom at some point. But, man, I'm curious to see what Jerome Powell says this week, man.
Ooh, that's going to be a big one, man.
I can't imagine
we all know what he's going to say. We know what he's going to say.
Inflation's too high still.
Here it comes. Here it comes. Oh, boy.
It turns out we were wrong.
The housing market starts coming down now.
Oh, yeah. You already know the housing market's last, right? You have cryptocurrencies, the most volatile, hit first. And then you have, assets, stocks, commodities, stuff like that. And then the housing market is the last one that just over. And it's like, oh, it can't happen this time. Inventory's too low. This and that. It just can't happen this time. Bruh, were you alive in 2008? Were you alive in 2006?
It's different this time, Ryan. It's different this time.
It's not.
I have my money in the market. It's
not adjustable rate mortgages anymore. Oh, guess what it is now? Mortgage-backed securities.
And that's what's funny. 8 months ago, when we started to see that first dip that Bitcoin took, or whenever it fell out of its parabola and started coming down, the whole space was screaming, "This time is different. This time is different. This time is different. We're going to see a new top. It's going to 100K. It's going to dip. It's going to be a bear trap, and it's going to, it's going to moon." And that is not what happened. It's done what it always has historically done, and it is going down in the freaking.
And the more it goes down, the more it confirms other people's belief that it's going to do what it's going to do. So it even more so confirms that people are going to not buy any more of it until it does hit 11K. So now you're starting to see real capitulation. It just moved $10,000 in a matter of a couple of days. People are now believing that 85% is coming. So the market cycle and psychology is taking hold again because emotions are coming in. Yep. So it's tough to see, but man, I'm thankful, man. I'm thankful I have the HEX community. I'm thankful we have Richard to help out and be a martyr. Because keep in mind, since he's filthy rich, he don't mind being a martyr. Think about it. He don't got anything he has to lose. He's got everything he wants, right? That's why creating wealth is important, and you do need your health, right? Richard does talk about losing weight all the time too, guys. Pay attention. But when you have wealth, because you can time stuff like this properly, you don't have to worry about being a martyr. Like that's my goal. Is I don't want to have to worry about me getting deleted because I can't have an honest conversation with the world because I know it's going to help hundreds of thousands of people. I can't do that yet. I can't. I'm going to get deleted. And if I still need to make money, it's like, okay, well, you're not there yet. So money is important in that way, in my opinion, but that's why Richard's so great. He doesn't have anybody holding him down, nothing. Mm-hmm. And he's great for the space because of that. He's doing a lot of good things.
Yep. Definitely changing the narrative and definitely bringing back the tenets of what crypto was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. Not your collateral, not your collateral.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the right. Celsius. That's the Celsius.
Dude, that reminds me of is when Robinhood and a couple other exchanges paused trading on AMC and GameStop, and they turned off the sell orders. I was one of those people. I'll admit, I was one of those people that got wrecked, leverage trading, that stuff. 100%. So when I first heard about hacks was after I'd lost basically everything. Day trading. Fun fact. So, yep. Hacks and Richard humbled people, but for the better. I learned from it and got better. So other people can too. So hopefully when this crash happens, more people come into hacks to avoid this kind of stuff happening with traders that are like 20x long, 40x long. It's like, dude, are you kidding me? That shouldn't even. The fact that exchanges even allow that to happen just shows how much of what Richard said is true. So we'll see what happens, but. Yeah, hopefully people got some insight from our stream tonight on, not only what's about to go down in the next few months here as it pertains to like the continuing food shortages, the higher prices and stuff, and how to prepare for that mentally and with snagging some good food choices. But yeah, pay attention to what's going on with the Federal Reserve in America. They have a big sway in things. And for now, the US dollar is still the reserve currency. I say for now, because fun fact, Jerome Powell actually said in one of his meetings a couple months ago that he sees a day in the future. This is what he said. I see a day in the future where there could be multiple reserve currencies. That was an indicator. Hey guys, heads up. The dollar is going to crash here pretty soon and lose a ton of value. So you could see a mixed bucket of like the Chinese currency, Bitcoin, who knows, a few other things in there. But the US dollar, the days of it being able to buy you a lot of things are coming to an end here, is my humble opinion on it. Because this high it's sitting at right now, it ain't going to stay there long. Nope. If they keep raising rates, people ain't going to have a 401k pretty soon. And that's not an option. Think about it. They literally they can't do it. And RG, you weren't here in the last one. We talked about the fact that the Federal Reserve can't raise their interest rates literally above like 1.5% to 2% because the chart shows it and everything's going to break. So I think I put I think August, right? Exercise. I think I said August was the last month that they're going to potentially raise rates before they pivot and say, "Oh, we're gonna hold off this month."
Yeah, maybe we won't raise this time.
Yeah, we're gonna hold off. I'm gonna text everybody, RG, this is the bottom. Exercise. This is the bottom. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, man. We'll see Wednesday. People are calling for potentially a 1% hike, so 100-point hike, as opposed to 50, which was fairly priced in until. I think those inflation numbers came out Friday.
Yeah.
And all that.
A 1-point move. Oof.
Yeah, that would be big.
What, the mortgage rates are already around 6% right now, and the 10-year treasury is above 3.25% right now, which does not bode well for mortgage rates.
Yeah.
So, dude.
Yeah, if it's one, well, I don't think it's going to be one. I'm not even so certain it's going to be 75.
I don't think they can do one, dude. I mean, the NASDAQs are, dude.
It's going to get.
Yeah.
It's already down 30%. And we haven't even touched 1.5%.
Mayhem pandemonia. Dogs and cats living together.
Yeah.
Brother, just take a look at this. This is the 2 hour. Don't look at the 2 hour. It looks really bad.
Oh, shit. Okay.
We're already down 32%, guys, and we have raised once. They want to raise, you know what they said? They want to raise all the way throughout 2023. And we're down 30%. This is people's retirement. Think about it. The whole economy the stock market is the whole economy. People need to know this.
Ain't no way you're raising.
There's a big gap. There's a big gap to fill from here down to here. It's another 10% there. And then the next one is the COVID dip. We're already back to COVID times.
Yeah, right here where your cursor is. That's COVID dip.
This is COVID dip right here. Another 40%. We've done
here,
one rate height. Should I just bring up the Fed funds rate? I think RG will appreciate that.
Yeah, do it.
So this high point here at 18, this is the interest rate that the Federal Reserve provides to banking institutions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they will lend those rates out. So this is when Paul Volcker was ahead of the chair, right? This is in the 80s when we had record high inflation using a different CPI number. The CPI number we use now is not correct. If we use the 80s numbers, it'd be much higher. It'd be double digits. But this is 19%. So we complain about interest rates at like 1% now. They're at 19%.
They were at 19.
So notice the trend. See how they get up higher at here, and then it goes lower every time. So 1984, 11.5. 1989, 10%. 1995, 6%. They got a little higher just for a second. In 2000, guess what happened? The dot-com bubble crashed, right? 6.5%. And then guess what came back up again? Guess what happened here? 5.25%. The 08 great financial crisis. And then we come down here, and guess what happens? All the way from Obama on, 0.15, 0.2, just eensy-peensy little baby shit nothings. And then they start raising, and people don't know this. The overnight repo market crashed in 2019. People don't even know that. We should talk about that in a different episode. But we got the 2.5% crash. COVID happened, and it just absolute crash. And now look at this little thing over here. I'm going to zoom in. Look at this little baby shit increase.
What's the number now? 0.75? 0.77.
We're not even at a full percent. And we think we're
they want to double it right now.
We think we're going to double and get up to 2.5. We couldn't even get to 2.5 before everything crashed. So when we're looking at a 30% drop in the NQ, the NASDAQ, on 0.75%, this is how you know they're full of shit. It's the narrative, right? They operate on narrative. So go off of what they say, not what they're going to actually do, because it's rarely the same.
Yeah.
And things are pretty dicey right now. I'm not going to lie. Anybody who's looking to retire this year is likely not anymore, or taking insane hits. I'm serious. And that's real people suffering from this. It's tough to see. So, I talked to my dad, for example. He's probably retiring in 7 years. He'll be good. He'll be in the next bubble. So that's what to pay attention to over the next couple months here. I'm still going to stand by August. I think things are going to break so much in July that they're going to have to pivot in August. There's no way they can't. There's no way they can't. I mean, we're seeing a breakdown right now.
Yeah.
I mean, here you go. Whoop, there it goes. Back below 21. I mean, it's going to be a long night. That's for sure.
Oh.
Yeah, shit.
But
Sailor ain't sleeping for the next week.
Nope.
Yeah. And like what the one comment that said about opportunity. Here it is. Don't be afraid. Buy when there's blood in the streets, man. You got dry powder saved up. Don't over leverage yourself. Don't overextend yourself. Have multiple months in saving. Do what you need to do for your financial plan that makes sense, where you're comfortable. But anything extra, you're either buy food because it's a hedge to the dollar right now, or buy hacks.
That's what Robert Kiyosaki put an article.
Yeah,
out.
he did. I
buy
saw that
tuna.
tweet.
He said, buy tuna fish
because it's going up in price, guys, every month. Like I follow a guy that does reports, and literally every week food continues to go up. Manufacturing distributors, like we're seeing the inflation that has hit the commodity market with stocks now working its way into core inflation with consumer goods and food and stuff like that. And it hasn't even got started yet. Like it's going to go way higher. I don't think the Fed's going to be able to control it.
Yeah.
Exciting times.
Ryan, why are you so shredded, bro? Preference, brother. Preference. To be honest, I probably won't care to be shredded like that in the future.
That's the answer. Preference.
Yeah, because there's a wide range of overall health you can maintain with, anywhere from, for guys, I would probably say 7 to 8%, all the way up to almost like 15 to 17% is like a really healthy area at that range to be in. And the rest is maybe pre-existing health conditions. Maybe you tweak that a little bit, and then preference, honestly. 10 to 14 is probably, I'd say, peak. For sure. I'd want to ask.
10 to 14 sick.
Yeah, I mean, that's where most professional athletes are at, right? I mean, just think about it. That's their performance is going to be the best there. And typically blood panels are going to be the best there. Doesn't mean healthy people can't get diagnosed with things out of the blue. But once again, preventative. We don't want to add more fuel to the fire. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting time to be alive, man. Very interesting. But I don't want to talk too much about this. I'll promptly shut up now. I get really excited about
it
this
is
stuff.
interesting shit, dude.
It is.
Anything else from you guys?
Not much else from me, brother.
Oh man, I'm excited to just watch this for the next week until
Right. Get your
FN
popcorn.
Hangout's going to be a exciting time, I think, this week.
Oh,
Oh, dude, you're gonna have plethora of content to talk about.
yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, it is going to be good.
Shit could hit the fan by Friday for sure.
Oh, it's hitting it right now.
Sure.
I mean, it's right there. It's right there. And this 21 is a big deal. We go into the mid-teens, and there's trouble. There is trouble.
I mean, based on what we're seeing here, this thing is just this is forming another pennant. I think it's probably going to head lower if it can't hold. I mean, I don't know. Volume's picking up. This is the 5-minute chart. If it makes another low here below this candle here, I mean, structure's been pretty consistent on Bitcoin recently. You know, I mean, it's been pretty obvious. The fact that you still had like influencers saying like, "Oh, Bitcoin's above 32K now," it's like, dude, it's been printing the biggest bear flag on the planet. What is wrong with you? Like, let this play out and shut up and stop telling people to buy this crap until you actually have an idea, because your people don't even get paid yield. They just sit in pain and misery. Your shit doesn't do anything. So yeah, this is going to be, the volume's there. It's going lower. Did Binance release their sell pressure?
I do think that was earlier in the day.
No, it happened just recently again. Like Bifinest made a comment.
Yeah, it just
they turned it off again. So if this is going down like this, even without people being able to sell on the largest exchange in the country, dude, how many people are staring at their phones right now, sending selfies, praying to God that they can just swipe right and sell their Bitcoin right now? Think about that.
They're just sitting there, looking at their phone, going, refresh.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
Yep, there's going to be some really wrecked people out there. It's sad to say, but there will be.
Yeah, and it's not just gonna be this stuff. Think about people who bought cars that were too expensive, people who bought, whatever. Like, people, shit is gonna be on discount. TVs, you name it, man. We're gonna be buying all. I'm gonna be buying all the deals. I can't wait. Been saving my freaking money. I'm gonna be buying all the deals, and you better believe Hex is the best part of that. About that, because to be honest, I don't need much. I think I have like a MacBook, and this computer, and my headphones, and that's really about it. My phone. And that's a business right off at that. So I don't really like stuff that much, but I do like Hex. And I do like Hex better at 3 cents than I did at 50 cents. Because, I bought very high too.
Mm-hmm.
Not afraid to admit that. I didn't want to miss it going to $1. And I don't mind buying more at 3. So.
That's right.
Well, to those watching this Bitcoin chart, good luck. I hope you're not in it.
Yeah, I hope you are not attached to any of those places that are freezing people's shit.
Yeah,
I hope you have acted and prepared accordingly in the true crypto sense.
This is
not
sad to see.
by giving away your shit. And if it did happen to you this time, learn the lesson.
This is looking so bad, dude. This is just looking like, this is just me like looking at a health chart and it's just going straight up. It's not good. Not that ever happens, I promise. My clients crush it, but this is just so bad. This is ugly. Anywho, well, that's all I got for the night, boys. Unless you guys got anything else.
No, I think that's great. Right there, myself. RG?
Good. I'm good. I appreciate you guys, man.
Man,
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, no chatting with the captain tonight, so I wanted to come hang out with you guys and
dope.
talk
I like
about
that.
health and talk about
some markets. Yeah, Ryan.
The sickness in the markets.
Yeah, absolutely.
As we watch in real time, this bearish pennant about to break to the downside here.
Yeah.
As Binance flips the on switch again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Hey man, listen, the more data points that Richard can get that just once again lends more credibility, it's just bullish for Hex. Think about it. The only thing he promotes is Hex and his products. Why would he promote anything else? Everything else sucks. He says that all the time. He's like, everything else going on in the world right now sucks ass. And I agree with him. Think about it. Things are kind of shitty right now, but we can take a lot of solace in knowing that the things that we're in with the crypto space are innovative, are exciting, are life-changing. So I'm confident that that's a good thing. Even though this may seem bad on paper because the Hex price does get dragged along with it sometimes, that's just for now. Remember, Hex is not truly correlated with Bitcoin.
Right on.
Cool. Short-term pain.
All right, gentlemen.
Yeah. Let's leave it there. A reminder, in 2 weeks, everybody, we're going to have Dr. Nicole Shrednicki join us on the channel. Dr. Shredder. That's Dr. RG, who's got him in shape. It's gotten a lot of people in shape, so make sure to tune in for that. We'll promote it a little bit, try to pull some questions, get you all in on a thread so we can bring some questions to her. We're also going to pick her brain about a really cool conference she was just recently at this past week.
Yes.
Yeah. Outside of that, we'll be back here next week, Monday, at the same time as usual. That's 6 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern. We'll catch y'all later.
All right, guys.